Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Hello, Montgomery County. This is the Moco Montgomery County Sideline Sports Show. This is your host, Mike Thomas. Thank you for joining us for our first full episode, show number one of our new show right here on Lone Star Community Radio, designed to bring you closer to the court, to the sidelines, and let you hear more, learn more, know more about your local Montgomery County favorite high school sports. So that's really what this show is going to be all about. We're going to do it about twice a month and bring you interviews and stories with coaches, players, the games, and just let you know more of what's going on right here in our own high school sports. This is South Texas. We love our sports. It's one of the biggest, best bright spots in our community, and we're just going to have a whole lot of fun and do a whole lot of great shows talking about it. Today's show, we actually have three great interviews with local high school coaches. We've got two football coaches and a volleyball coach. We're going to hear from Coach Sheldon Benight, first-year coach out of New Caney, Kyle Coates, football coach, head coach at College Park, and head volleyball coach for the Willis Wildcats, Kayla Jenkins. So stay tuned and listen to a lot of that. But obviously it is fall. This is the second week of September, and fall sports are in full swing. The volleyball in 6A Region 2 District 13, the competition and teams are really heating up. Of course, your two-time defending state champion, Grand Oaks, are right back out in first place at a 5-0 in district play already. But right behind them, close on their heels, is a very competitive Oak Ridge team at 4-0. Willis, again, you're going to hear from Coach Jenkins in a minute, is looking very strong early in the season at 4-1. And in some very strong and competitive teams, College Park and the Woodlands are at 2-2 in district play, followed by the rest of the teams there. In football, if you look at some state rankings, this is according to VIPE rankings that came out for Class 6A state. Several of our local Montgomery County teams are already state ranked. So congratulations to the Woodlands Highlanders. The guys are already at number 4. Down the road, not quite in our county, but Atascocita looks really strong. But College Park, again, we're going to hear from Kyle Coates, Coach Coates here in a little bit. They're at number 9 in the state. Willis is at number 15, Conroe at 18, followed by Magnolia at 19. So early in the season, a lot of our local teams off to a great start. Stay tuned. We're going to jump right into our first coach interview with Coach Benight at New Caney. So let's hear more from Coach Benight and what he's doing to turn that team around and get that season off to a great start. Well, hey, Coach, thanks for joining us today. Everybody, this is Mike with the Moco Sideline Sports Show. As you know, this is a brand new show talking about simply just high school sports and athletics in Montgomery County, getting to know the local coaches, players, and teams, and just talking about the stories and what's going on there. Today, we're with the brand new head coach of the New Caney Eagles, Sheldon Benight. Coach, am I pronouncing the name right? Is it Benight?
That's it. You got it. Appreciate you having me on.
Oh, hey, glad to be here, and obviously we're anxious to get to know more about you and what's going on with New Caney. Tell us about your first year and first impressions so far.
First, what I told people when I first came here, I was raised in a small town, and this has a small town atmosphere to it. Although it's got 3 big schools in it, but still, I think the heart of the community is a small town, and it carries those values with it. And the kids have really been great and kind of true to those values. And that's what I'm finding real interesting. And it feels a little more like home than I really expected. And so far it's been great, that part of it.
Fantastic. I can relate to that. Folks don't know a lot about me either as well. I've been in Houston and been in Texas now for the best part of 25 years, but I grew up in a small Kansas farm town, played ball.
Oh, really?
In a small farm town. So I appreciate what you're talking about, and it is a
Yeah.
great feeling. It's a great
Yeah.
community thing. Um, so first year, excuse me, going back to last year, obviously this is kind of a turnaround now, trying to rebuild a new program. Last year in New Caney was 1-9, but this is kind of deja vu for you. You came from Galveston Ball.
Hmm.
This is kind of a familiar feeling, turning around a program. Tell us what you're doing to rebuild a new culture and a level of success.
Well, I think it's a lot of a little bit of a lot of different things, and it's got the same type feel as far as the kids. They got to learn to believe in themselves again. They have to learn to trust the process that we're bringing in, and it's a continued. I don't want to use the word battle, but it is because kids are just human nature to get in a kind of a mode of same old thing type of deal, and you've got to change that. And sometimes it takes small successes. So we're trying to focus on that part of it. And the beautiful part about it is generally when you come in and take over a new program, you get a lot of pushback from the kids and in a community. And I really hadn't had that, especially the seniors. Everybody's buying in, and they're they're really they want to do what we're asking them to do, and they want to do the right thing. They may not understand everything we're doing or why we're doing it, but there's no kickback on it. Kids are great, and so in that aspect, we're ahead of where I really expected to be, and it really from what I expected from what I came from, and we that when we rebuilt it in Galveston, and then it was a real fight, and it's not to say anything bad about Galveston. It was just kids were set in their ways, and I understood that, being around a long time. But I can't say enough about the job these kids have done, and their desire to be good and desire to turn things around, and the fact that they're willing to accept and learn. That's the next thing. It's not just their desire, but their willingness to learn the right way of doing things and the right way to the things you have to do to be successful and to turn things around. And the community's been great. The support, all the things are in place to be successful. And
Good.
we just, it's just a process. It's a slow process. And our kids are, when they understand that just because victory is not in just a score at this point in time. And, we're trying to instill that in them. And I think they're starting to understand it. There's small victories involved, and those are the things we talk about. Character all the time, character in life after high school, and I see it as my job. And the football and the X's and O's and all that, the wins and losses, those kind of take care of themselves when you focus on kids more than anything else, and the successes they're going to have after high school, and trying to help them navigate through life as much as I can. And after all, if you're in it for any other reason than that, then it's to me, you're in it for the wrong reason. But so that's kind of where we're keeping our focus right now.
And that was the first half of our conversation with Coach Benight. Stay tuned. We're going to be right back with the second half of our conversation with Coach Benight. Hey, Montgomery County, it's Mike with the Moco Sideline Sports Show. While we take a little bit of a break in the show here, just want to remind you where you can find our show and listen. As we get this show up and going, please just make sure you subscribe, follow, and listen, and make sure you tell everybody about it so that they can hear more about their favorite local high school teams as well. So you can find us wherever you stream your podcasts, whether it's Spotify, Apple, or Google. And, of course, you can find us on LSCR's Lone Star Community Radio's YouTube channel. You'll see all of the shows there. And you can always find us worldwide at www.irlonestar.com. So that's Spotify, Apple, and Google for all of your streaming podcasts, YouTube, and irlonestar.com. That's where you can find Moco Sideline Sports Show. Make sure you tell all your friends and listen in. That's fantastic, and I'm glad you took the answer that direction. One of the things that we like to do with this show and make it a little bit different and unique is talk about those life skills that we learn in sports that so often get applied in life after school and life after sport. In one of our first episodes, we talked about teamwork, right? Because that's going to imply in the workplace or even within the family or even just among a group of friends with different things going on. This show, we were going to talk a little bit more about confidence and how that's learned. And in a second, I'll give you a chance to talk about how you're building confidence through the discipline and through the character of the program, and how these guys are starting to build and how the team is starting to build some confidence as they turn this thing around. But that's kind of the theme of this show. So where are you seeing that taking place? And go ahead and take a chance if you want to give a shout out to some of your players who are really starting to step up and become leaders on the team. We love to brag on them during the show and give them some recognition and some love as well. So on that idea, what are you seeing there?
The confidence of the kid. There's certain kids that have confidence, and I'll preface all of it by saying we have to. One of the things we're trying to teach them now is how to handle failure, and at the same time how to handle success. Failure is not always negative. That's the one thing. The best part about failure is you learn from it. So we're always going to try to take a failure and turn it into a positive. Well, that creates some confidence in itself, because just because you fail at something doesn't mean you're a bad person, doesn't mean anybody likes you any less, doesn't mean that's just something you got to learn from. And the kids have really started to understand that. And I think for as much as anything from that, they are not losing confidence. That's the thing. Whether we're started to turn it and gain a lot of confidence, that in itself comes from, victory on the scoreboard and all that. But the fact that we're not losing confidence in ourselves, that's a huge deal too. So that's kind of where we're starting right now, after 2 weeks. But at the same time, handling failure, we have to learn to handle success. In our first game, we got ahead in the fourth quarter, and that's the first time they'd been ahead in the fourth quarter in a long time. And, they really didn't know how to handle it. And all of a sudden, a couple of bad things happened, and bam, we're down again. So, we discussed that, and we have to learn how to handle success and the expectation of success. So a lot of that, it kind of goes hand in hand, and there's other things as well. But, a lot of our kids, we got Kai Zavala as our middle linebacker. I call him Grandpa because he's been here, it seems like, the longest, and he's got some bad knees but a great head about him, great attitude, and he's done a great job of helping lead this year.
Good.
We're really young on both sides of the ball. Not a lot of new offensive linemen that are real young. We've got some young receivers, young DBs that are returning. That's a good thing. And Kai is one that's kind of led everybody, but you've got Donovan Bird on our D line. He's a senior. He's done a great job for us. I'm gonna draw a blank on some of the first names. I'm still trying to learn everybody's first name. Magana, he does a great job for us. Iman Brown in the secondary, he'll be back next year. Isaiah Wilson, he's unfortunately a senior in our secondary, but all these guys have done a great job for us, and I'm glad we've got the young guys coming back, especially in defense. Who's even though we gave a lot of points last week, we got beat 62-7. But the positive is it wasn't scheme and it wasn't effort. It was just we had some busts. And we weren't in the right position. We weren't. It's all things that are fixable. So I think the kids are seeing that when we point that out to them, and we're not, not trying to crucify them. It helps develop some of that confidence. But on the other side of the ball, we have a lot of success at times, but at the same time we shoot ourselves in the foot. But I think that's the growing pains as well. Shepard Grown is our tight end senior. Unfortunately, we lost a good starting quarterback before the season started in Grant Webb. He was a senior for us, so we're still trying to find our footing there, which doesn't help things a whole lot. But we've got some good receivers out wide, some good length at receiver. But it's I hate to say a work in progress, but we're closer than what everybody thinks as far as the success on the school board, and it does deal with that confidence you're talking about. So we're going to get there.
Good. Well, and obviously they're following you. They're following your plan, and you epitomize, just in talking with you, you epitomize the character and the discipline and the passion and all the dedication and everything that they need, that'll all start to fall into place. And again, you've turned a team around before, so you know what this looks like, and it does take the time. And it sounds like you've got the talent there to do it. So all the right pieces are there. All the right pieces are there. Well, hey, let's jump right into. We're kind of coming quickly to the end of our conversation, so we're going to jump right into what we call the sideline shuffle. This is kind of like a two-minute drill, a no huddle offense, where we're just going to drop about 6-7 questions real quick. Let you just have some fun. First thing that comes to mind, and this is just a chance for people to get to know you a little bit. We know who you are as a football coach. This is kind of some fun outside of football real quick. So, all right. So, hey, here's an easy one right off the bat. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream, Coach?
Oh, vanilla.
That seems to be the popular choice. Always a popular choice. So, favorite kind of music, or even a pump up or a workout song in the gym or locker room?
Oh man, I'll tell you what. I'm a talk radio guy myself. I listen to more sports on the radio. I like a lot of different type of music. I like to say I like what the kids listen to, but that's a little different for me. I grew up in the country, so I guess country's the root of it. But there's, I love growing up. AC/DC was some of the stuff we would listen to as kids. That was our rock music genre. But I also like some of the old stuff. I can't tell you I have one favorite. It's just whatever I like on the radio is just. But like I said, I'm a sports talk radio guy myself. I listen to that all the time.
Man after my own heart. Small town, a little bit of loud music and a little bit of news and information. So I'm with you there. Hey, favorite movie, or even if you could be in your favorite movie, what character would you play?
Oh my God. What would I play? I don't know. The winning coach, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, good answer right there. There's a lot of those great stories. So.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm big on I like, I guess, mysteries and crime mysteries and stuff like that. I like all those where you're trying to figure out who's who done it and all that type of thing. That's good. I would be the guy that, and my character, I guess, would be the guy that figured out who done it, not necessarily the one drawing the gun out there and trying to run people down, but just trying to figure out the puzzle pieces and stuff. I've always liked that part of it. So some type of character like that. Again, I don't watch a lot of movies. I watch ball games and reruns and stuff, Andy Griffith and stuff like that. It shows my age, but MASH and whatnot. I love that stuff. Good comedy like that. That's another one too. The comedy movies are some of my favorite. Yeah. So, but I guess I'm showing my age now.
You and I are the same generation, so that's okay. Those are classics. So, hey, Coach, we're out of time. This is Coach Sheldon Benight with the New Caney Eagles, brand new head coach, doing a lot of great things to turn the program around. Thanks for joining us on the Moco Sideline Sports Show on Lone Star Community Radio. Thanks again, and best luck to the Eagles.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, take care. And thank you, Coach Benight, for joining us. What a great conversation we had with Coach Sheldon. He is doing some fantastic work at New Caney. Obviously, he built a great program at Galveston Ball and is applying a lot of the same principles, practices, and concepts. He really builds his team on two, as he talked about here, on two very strong pillars, and that is his discipline and character. He spoke to it in the interview. He spoke to it afterwards when we kind of got off the air a little bit and gave some examples. And obviously went further into talking about his team and players and the great work that they're doing. It was really interesting. He's close enough with his team and players. He actually has a lot of nicknames for them that's helping to build confidence and character with the team. Confidence obviously being the theme of today's show. We want to always talk about a life skill that we can learn in sports and then apply later on in life. Confidence is something that becomes very important in the workplace, in the family place. And a lot of these athletes, especially on teams like Coach Benight's, they're learning confidence sometimes in a good way, in an easy way with wins and victories. And then confidence, like he talked about, also comes from just building momentum and achieving some greatness week by week as you see a lot of the process start to come together, a lot of the teams start to come together. And a lot of that is really working well right there in New Caney. So thank you, Coach Benight, for joining us. We'll be right back with our coach interview with Kayla Jenkins, Willis Wildcat volleyball head coach. A great story there. And she's also building a great program with her team. So stay tuned. We're going to be right back with that interview. Remember, you can always email ideas for the show, stories, and other things that you want to see and hear more about on the show. Moco Sideline Sports Show at gmail.com. Moco Sideline Sports Show at gmail.com is how you can reach us and share your ideas and comments on the show. And thanks a lot. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, it's Mike with the Moco Sideline Sports Show. Hey, just want to take a minute to say, listen, this show is not about us. It's about you. It's about the fans of our local Montgomery County high school sports. It's about the coaches. It's all about the players. So we want to hear from you. And here's how we do that. We want to hear your ideas, hear your stories of what's going on with the games, with the teams, with the schools. So reach out, and you can email me at Moco Sideline Sports Show at gmail.com. Let me say that one more time. Moco Sideline Sports Show at gmail.com. Drop me an email anytime with your ideas, thoughts, feedback on the show. Also find us on Facebook, facebook.com. The name of the page is Sideline Sports Show, Moco Sideline Sports Show, obviously, right here from Montgomery County. Just reach out and obviously subscribe, share, and just bring us all of your ideas so we can stay in tune and in touch with what's going on with all high school sports. This is not just a football, not even just a volleyball show. There's a lot of great sports going on. We're in fall, so there's cross-country runners out there doing their thing. And we want to hear all of the great stories and achievements from all of the folks around Montgomery County. So reach out, and I look forward to hearing from you. Welcome back to the Moco Sideline Sports Show. For our next interview, we are joined by Willis Volleyball head coach Kayla Jenkins, doing some fantastic things to get that program to an even greater level of success. What a great homecoming story for her. She was a superstar volleyball athlete, went on to build her education, and is now back in her hometown, home school, leading the Lady Wildcats. Here's Coach Jenkins.
Teachers and the other previous conversations. So confidence is definitely something that we push, and it's done through our practices, through the reps, through the instillment of like, hey, if you are at a 20 today, we got your 80. And so that's what we're really been focused on this year is how do we cover each other? So when we do have our low days, somebody else will make sure that we're good to go on the other side of that.
You're having a great season, but like most teams, most seasons, you've had a couple of tough losses. So not to pick on that by any means, but because today's life skill that we're talking about in the show is confidence. What have you done? What did you do specifically after some of the tough matches to regain and rebuild some confidence in your team?
A lot of that has to do with us just having open conversations. Hey, we were weak this game. You know, these were the X's and O's that we sat down and tried to execute. And we didn't play up to par as we should have. And then like, for instance, we had our first loss in district last week take place. And then yesterday we played New Caney, and we played with confidence of, okay, we let the ball slip last week, but let's regain that again. Let's go back out there like we know how to play, and secured the W last night. And moving forward, you know, we have a big game come Friday, and the goal is to maintain that confidence. We're going to have errors. We're going to have mistakes, but that's a game of volleyball. And the coolest thing about volleyball is, yes, we can make those mistakes and errors, but we can also make the 10 steps forward that leads to much more than just a win and loss for us. And that's the main biggest goal, is how do we get better every single day, striving for the same vision, the same goal, not just for volleyball, but after volleyball.
Hey, tell us real quick about your homecoming back to Willis into the volleyball team and taking the head coach position.
So I graduated in 2011. I graduated here specifically at 11. Then I went to go kind of fulfill my elementary teaching. That's my background. Did that, and then kind of coached for a few years after that. Then headed to Angela State as an assistant coach out there. Gained some more knowledge in that role and a different perspective of kind of this is where they started, this is where they could end up type avenue. And after that, then I came back, and last year was my first year as head coach here. It was an opportunity was presented to me kind of as a homecoming, and it was such a blessing to have as welcoming arms as I did from the community members, from previous coaches, from mentors, from my athletic directors. It truly is a bleed purple community here, and that has been one of my favorite things to hype up the most, is that I was welcomed here with such opening arms, and the support that I have gotten in year 2 now as head coach has been nothing but a blessing.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, if someone comes to a match, well, I mean, volleyball obviously is one of the most exciting sports to watch. It is so fast, it is so quick. I can't pretend I know a lot about it. So I played some intramurals in volleyball. I mean, in college, which I know for anyone that's truly in the sport, you kind of say, "Oh, that's cute," but but I had a blast. We had a great time. But there is so much strategy to the sport. Describe your style of coaching and your style of strategizing real quick, and kind of your approach to the game compared to maybe what other coaches might do or don't do.
So I would say that I'm an old soul. Volleyball has evolutionized in so many ways from when I played, and then it changed again when I was as an assistant coach, and then it's changed again now again as a head coach. Fundamentals and defense wins games. So wins games, and those are the main things that we emphasize the most here. And I really believe that, especially with today's girls and their mindset and logic meeting emotion and their day-to-day world and work ethic, and when you combine all of that together, that's how we put together game by game. We strategize day by day depending on like who we're competing against, and what we need, and where, and maybe what are the things we're growing on and improving on. And then we also look at what our opponents' strengths and weaknesses are, and then we utilize what we are good at, and then we try to capitalize it when we go into battle with them, if you will. And I think that has really been the best thing for this year's season and team so far, because it's working for us, and that's been the main thing. Let's do what works best for us, and let's capitalize it, and keep going times 10.
Lean on your strengths. I love the logic meets emotion. I had coaches that always preached, when skill meets passion.
Sure.
So that's certainly a different version, and maybe a better version of the same concept,
Sure.
being smart and playing with heart as well. And that's a very dangerous combination.
It is, especially since everything is on social media, and it's a very hard game not to compete with what you see. So we didn't have to deal with that. We had MySpace, and fortunately, like, that was as good as it got.
Yeah, exactly. And we didn't even have that. So, and I'm not going to date myself any more than that. So the idea of the show is for folks that are kind of on the sidelines and watching. So just a quick, easy question. I know you take every game, every match, one at a time, but when you look at the schedule, what kind of jumps off the schedule at you for the rest of the year?
That's a great question.
Okay.
Let me say this, and maybe this will help out. We have one of the toughest 6A volleyball districts in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
Grand Oaks is going for their 3-year Pete right now.
You've got to get past Grand Oaks. Yeah.
Oak Ridge is coming out with a new squad this year that they're competing. I mean, the Woodlands is always stacked, and College Park always has great, consistent kids that just are phenomenal. And then you have all the rest of us that are continuing to grow our program, that now we too are getting to compete with big dogs. And so that's why I think our mentality is game by game, because every game is going to be a fight. And what a blessing it is to get put in one of the best districts out there right now, to see these girls not just flourish, but compete. And that's every school in our district now is getting to go and compete, versus, in the past it's been, well, you have these top 3 and they dominate, like the past 2-3 years, now we're all starting to grind. And it is such a cool thing to be a part of that. Volleyball now gets to be a part of that discussion.
you can't get better and you can't be the best unless you play the best and beat them. So
Correct.
yeah, no, very
Correct.
competitive. You're exactly right. We definitely want to keep up with you. We're going to hear from some of the other squads throughout, the season with the rest of the shows, but we want to check back in with you. So before we leave, we do a fun thing on the show called the Sideline Shuffle. We're going to get away from volleyball here for a second.
Okay.
All right. So are you up for about 5 or 6 rapid fire questions? Just some fun stuff, just to get to know Coach Jenkins
I'll
real
try
quick.
to answer them as well as I can in regards to this podcast.
Yeah, no, this is fun stuff, and it's easy, and you didn't even get to study. I'm putting you on the spot, and that's the whole idea. So
I will try my best.
no, it's great stuff. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream, Coach?
Strawberry.
Hey, good answer. Good answer. Hey, favorite style of music, or even maybe a pregame song that gets you pumped up. What's your favorite song? Hey, there you go. Okay. Hey, if you could be in your favorite TV show or movie, what show or movie would it be, and what character would you want to play?
Man. I'm not really a TV watcher. I don't really have much time for that. But anything to do with like Criminal Minds and gets to go investigate and find
Solving the mysteries.
Yes, there you go.
All right. Same question, but music. What band would you be in, and what would you play? Would you sing, drum, play guitar?
Oh, definitely do not put me in the spotlight. I will be the support in the back.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, great job. Thank you for joining us today. You passed the sideline shuffle, obviously. Just some fun, easy questions. Again, here we're with Willis Wildcats volleyball head coach Kayla Jenkins. Coach, you're off to a great start in your second year with the program. Great start to this season. Before we wrap up and let you go, is there anything else you want to say to your team or about your team?
I said it last year and I'm going to keep saying it. We are definitely the Davids in this Goliath story. And at the end of the day, we have been blessed with opportunities to go and compete and do what we absolutely love to do. And we will see victories. We will continue to work hard. We will continue to see what we have to offer. And special thank you to all Willis community members who have done nothing but pour into this program, because we are going to try to get us there this year.
Well, you're doing great things. So again, thank you for joining us. And just tell everyone to stay tuned. We'll get you information on how you can catch this podcast and more when they get up on the air. And thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for your time and inviting.
Thank you again, Coach Jenkins, for joining us. You don't need to look very far to see a coach that's very confident in what she's doing and the game plan that she has for her team this week, this season. She definitely brings a lot to that team, and very excited to be back in Willis coaching again. When we get back, we will be joined by Kyle Coates, head football coach at the College Park Cavaliers. He's at a different level of building a program. That he's been there a few years, and they are off to a great start this season, and we're going to hear more about what's going on at College Park. Hey, everybody, it's Mike with the Moco Sideline Sports Show. Hey, I want to give a thank you to Lone Star Community Radio for producing and hosting and spreading the great word about the show that we're putting together here for you for our local high school sports. But listen, supporting the station and supporting this show is the key to it and what makes it work. So if you are interested in donating and supporting, if you don't already know, Lone Star Community Radio is a 501c3 nonprofit. So your donations and your sponsorship and your support is tax deductible. You're supporting a great local charity doing a lot of great work. If you don't listen to a lot of the other shows put together and produced by Lone Star Community Radio, make sure you visit irlonestar.com and see all the great podcasts and shows and local community content that's being produced and put out there. There's a lot of great shows to listen to, more than I can even keep up with. But you can support our show by going to irlonestar.com/sideline, irlonestar.com/sideline. You can check the description on all the episodes and get more information about how to support, sponsor, and donate. But if you're an individual and you want to donate, please do. If you are a local small business owner and you would like to have your company, your business, your brand partnered and paired up with our show and help support local high school athletics and the show that we're producing to talk about them, then reach out to us. Make contact so that you can become a sponsor and we can promote and support you just the way you're supporting us. So we look forward to partnering with you. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me or the station here at Lone Star Community Radio. Thank you. And next we are joined by Kyle Coates, head football coach of the College Park Cavaliers. Before we get into the interview with Coach, I just want to say thank you to all the coaches for joining us today. Not easy to catch up with these coaches. They are so busy with their seasons now into full swing. It took a couple of weeks just to actually catch up with him for a few minutes, and we sat down early one morning this week and talked about where his team has been and where it's going. They are already off to a big 2-0 start after handling the Cypress Park Tigers and the Klein Cain Hurricanes. Really a strong start, but you'll hear more from him. We talked a little bit more about the offseason and what they did to prepare for this year. Coach also highlights some of the success from his players so far, and Coach really got into having some fun with the sideline shuffle, gave some great answers with the sideline shuffle. Hey, Coach, thanks for joining us. Hey, we're here with Coach Kyle Coates, head football coach at College Park, right here in Conroe. Coach, thank you for joining us on the Moco, Montgomery County Sideline Sports Show. Appreciate you being here for a minute this morning. You're busy.
Yeah, no doubt. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you having me.
Well, as you know, we're trying to start a new show and get things kicked off to just talk about local Montgomery County high school athletics, not just a football show. We're reaching out and talking to coaches with different sports, and eventually we'll get into bringing some players on board as well. But hey, it's early September. The air is just a little bit cooler out there. You can kind of feel the fall. It's football season for sure. So we're here to talk about football and College Park football real quick. Before we get into this season, which your Cavaliers are off to a blazing start. You've already outscored your opponents in the first two games, 131 points to 27. Coach, we're going to come back and talk about that here in a minute. But first, let's talk about how you got to College Park and what it's been like there so far. Can you kind of bring us up to speed?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my coaching career back in 2010, 2011. I played at Trinity University in San Antonio, was very fortunate. I sent out, I like to joke all the time, but it's probably about 100 emails to different universities. And the only people I heard back from were my college coach, the head coach over at Hardin Simmons, and a recruiting guy at ULM that basically said, hey, we'll get back to you. And so took the chance, went to Hardin Simmons, GA'd for a year, got my master's, came back and coached at Trinity, went back to Hardin Simmons after a year. They hired me back on full time as special teams coordinator and DB's coach. Did that for 4 years. We were fortunate that, some of those teams, D3 football, we had like the best kickoff return team in the nation. We got a little plaque for that, had one of the best punt units. Persistently had probably one of the better punt return teams. And so had a lot of success. That led me to be the defensive coordinator at ETBU for about 4 months, and then jumped on at University of Texas as a GA and then an analyst. And so did the college thing for about 9 years, and then got into coaching in the high school level. Year 10 was at Round Rock Westwood. Did 2 years there as the defensive coordinator under Coach Anthony Wood, who just recently retired. Shout out Coach Wood. And then went to DeSoto in 2022. Was very fortunate to coach a really, really good defense, had awesome staff, awesome kids, had a great head coach and Coach Mathis. We went 14-2, won the state title for 6A D2. Put my name out at a bunch of schools trying to, look at strike while the iron's hot, see if there was an opportunity to become a head coach, which was my ultimate goal. I joke with our kids, you got to have foresight into what you want and have goals and have something that you're constantly throwing at. And I kept basically a note card in my desk of, here's my 10-year goals, here's my 5-year goals, here's what I want to do by the time I'm 35, 40, whatever. And I had on my list by 35, I want to be a head football coach. And I had just turned 35 that year. Had put my name, or I guess 34 that year. Put my name in at a couple of jobs. Wasn't really getting any feedback. And I told my wife, I was like, I don't want to be that guy that just applies for 1,000 jobs. I said, the next one I apply for is probably gonna be my last one. Happens that Lonnie Madison gets the job over at Bridgeland. I see that the Woodlands College Park is open. I didn't know much about it, being from Austin originally. And so, I know the Woodlands is a nice area. Outside of that, I was like, I've got a 5-month-old son at the time. Would be awesome to raise him in a nice area, be a head coach somewhere for a long time. So I put my name in. I got a phone call the next day to do a virtual interview on Zoom. Did that interview the next day. 3 days later, I get a call back. Hey, can you come up tomorrow to come do an in-person interview? You're a finalist, one of 11. came and did the final interview, and then next day I got a call that I was the guy. So it all happened pretty quick.
You did a great job of making that manifest and come true. But this is, but I mean, this kind of ties back to sports, right? You took some of the lessons that you learned.
Sure.
You set goals, you work hard, you put a plan together, and then you work that plan, right? So one of the things we want to do in this show, and we'll talk about it as we get into talking about your team this year. One of the things we want to try to do with this show is talk about those life skills that we learn in sports. You can learn them in other great activities as well outside of sports, other extracurriculars, but obviously sports teaches us a lot about life and teaches us lessons that we can use in life and the things that we do. Last show, we talked about teamwork, obviously, which can come into play. Coach, this show, we're talking about confidence, right? And so obviously in sports, we have to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable and learn how to be strong and confident and believe in ourselves in all kinds of situations. We had a great conversation with the coach that's also appearing, New Caney, new head coach, Coach Benight, who is early in the turnaround stage of a program and building confidence quickly into that. You're now a couple of years into this program. And again, you guys are off to a roaring start. So let's get to where you were going into this off season and the summer workouts. Talk to us a little bit about what your goals were and how you built your team throughout the summer this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think back to the first season, goal was make the playoffs, right? Worked hard, had a really good group of seniors that stuck it out, wanted to play for a new coach, for whatever reason that just didn't work out, didn't manifest into a playoff season. We got into the last game versus Conroe, which plays into this week's theme a little bit, but they took it to us in that last game, and that ended up being the last game for us that year. We ended up 4-6. Had a lot of really good seniors, and when I talked to them after the season, what was one of the biggest letdowns for you? Why do you feel like we missed the playoffs? Because I think a lot of time you just need to reflect through the guys that actually were on the field doing battle, right? And one of the things a lot of those seniors told me is like there was just like a sense of belief that we didn't think we could necessarily do it, right? We had either like lost X amount of games in our careers here, and we didn't think we'd get over the hump, or we thought the teams we were playing were just better talent, whatever. And so that was one of the things we went into last offseason was one, believe, right? And so we preach that all the time. And then two, November 15th. I wanted them to have a date, and that was the first round of the playoffs. So the coach is joking with me last year, right? So we go to November 15th, we play Westfield, we win, historic win for this program and for theirs, because I don't think they've been knocked out of the playoffs in the first round since 2004, right? So to do that in 2024 was pretty cool. But the next week we come out, we play flat. Klein Collins gets on us early, and we basically never get back in the game. And so we were joking as a staff, like maybe we should have told them November 15th was the goal, because then they didn't know we had to play another game after that. So going into this year, our offseason plan was we're going to have Thanksgiving together as a team. You don't get to do that unless you make the third round of the playoffs.
Unless you're still playing.
Correct. And so we talked about, hey, all the cool things that come into well, we talk about having one family, right? So like we have our little slogan we put up everywhere where the I in family is dropped out, and there's a big number 1 in there, right? Because we're one family. So you don't get to that point unless you earn that every single day. I tell the kids all the time, you can talk about it, you can preach it, you can put it up on signs, but if you're not living it, you're not working towards it, then it's just a saying, it's just a slogan, and it doesn't matter, right? So this offseason, we've really built in the mentality of, expect to win, not like belief, not whatever, but you just expect to win. When you step on the field, you put in more work, you've gone through harder training, you've done all the difficult stuff. It's kind of that Jimmy Johnson, we do war all week long so that when we get to the game's just fun. It's easy, right?
Yeah.
Practice has been way harder than this.
Well, one of the things that stuck out to me, I was able to come see your game against your opener against Cypress Park. Obviously, you got off to a great start, early start with them. By halftime, you were up 56-0. But one of the things that impressed me is late in the second quarter, as offense would come off the field, your coaches were grabbing them, and they were still coaching. They were still huddling them up. You would think that maybe, hey, this is our first game. Obviously, things are off to a great start. Let's relax a little bit and enjoy the rest of the game. No, they were pulling the guys over and still coaching and coaching hard and playing hard all the way through the game. So that was impressive to see that there was still teaching and coaching going on. So.
Yeah, no, and that's a big emphasis that we put, especially at halftime of that game. We knew for the most part, I think it was 56-0. And at that point, hey, we're probably going to pull all the starters out. That's the smart thing to do, right? Plus, you got a bunch of seniors that work their tails off every single day, whether it's giving you a scout look, running down on kickoff, whatever, right? They deserve the right to get out there and play. And so what I told those guys at halftime, it's like, hey, the starters have earned you the right to get on the field. Now go play like a starter. The second you step on the field, you're not a 2, you're not a 3, whatever. You are our 1, and we're going to treat you like that. So make sure that we're flying around, making plays. I mean, one of our safeties in that game, I think we blitzed him twice, and other times he just kind of triggered on his own. But he ended up with 4 TFLs in that game, and right now he's number 3 in the district for tackles for loss, and he's our backup safety, right? And so there's some cool things that come in that. You get to see some kids really excel, and hey, you're on the field versus Cypress Park's ones. What can you do, right? And so that was some pretty cool stuff. But yeah, that was our mentality. We kind of went into halftime with is you get on the field, you're a 1. You're gonna get coached.
Well, let's
like
keep the talk on the sideline here for a second. So,
Yeah.
who has impressed you so far? What has surprised you about your team in a good way so far? And feel free to give some shout outs to some of the players.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it starts with Camden Hughes, our quarterback. You know, obviously he's having a record-setting season so far. He's had back-to-back games with 7 touchdowns accounted for. I think he's got 3 rushing and 11 passing so far. I think 11 passing puts him number 1 in the state, tied with like 3 other guys in all levels. So obviously we sling the ball around and we like to get it on the perimeter. We like to take deep shots. We have a really good receiving core with Jordan Stiles, Brian Snodgrass, Julian Cromartie, Tate Chawanik. Our running backs get involved in the passing game too. Duke Stevens obviously has got 4 receiving touchdowns, which is the most in 13-6A, and he plays running back, right? And so we've been very fortunate that our kids are catching the ball, right? We were joking last week. We didn't have a very good practice on Tuesday. We were dropping lots of passes. We're getting frustrated. Our OC walks over to me and say, "Hey, coach, the good news is we'll catch it on Friday." Well, we caught a lot of balls on Friday. I think Cam only threw 10 incompletions, and 4 of those were throwaways when he was getting pressured. And so the offensive line has really been impressive. You know, it's a group that's anchored by Cole Cook and Brock Menzie. But we've got some young guys that have stepped into some spots because we graduated 3 last year, you know. So going into those first 2 games, you're sitting there knowing that Klein Kane's a big pressure team. They're going to come after you. Cy Park with a new staff, you never know what you're going to get when you get a first game, and they've got a brand new staff. You got no film to really go off of. So they've done a really good job. You know, I was giving Coach Hooten a hard time, our OC, because he got choked up. He's an O-line guy by trade, and he's getting choked up because we're playing Klein Kane last week. They bring a double cross pressure from their linebackers, and it just gets picked up almost like an NFL team. Center passes this guy off because I see this guy coming. He calls out to the other guy to come help him. Bam, bam, the other backer comes and he adds off. So it's 5 for 5. Camden's able to step up in the pocket and he rips a touchdown pass because there's nobody in his face.
Excellent.
Right? And he's like, that play, he goes, what people don't understand in the stands is that play doesn't happen if those 5 guys don't do their job.
We play like we practice, and that takes a lot of time in the classroom, looking at chalkboards and a lot of, like I said, sideline coaching, and then a lot of time running through those drills. So whatever you did in the off season, these guys were ready. So,
and the defensive side, Marco Beltran is kind of our spark plug and has been for the last, I guess this is going on 3 years now, as our rover, plays that middle safety. And there were some impressive plays. And, this summer I got some coaches from some Division I schools, here's what we worry about that he lacks. And some of it was speed, some of it was tackling, all the things that they're going to give you the buzzwords to basically say, this is why we're not offering him right now. And in that game, I think I showed multiple clips to guys over the last couple of days, like, hey, this is the thing you said he needs to work on. Watch him work on it, right? Middle safety, they throw it to the back 20 yards away from him. Before the back can get a yard, he's 4 yards deep. Smacked down on the ground. Okay, what else do you want to see, sir? And then our defensive front, I think, is going to be one of the best in 13-6A. We've got Stephen Asong, who's a senior. We got Lucas Richard, who's a junior. And then we have 2 sophomore interior kids that are just absolutely phenomenal. Both are Division I type kids, and Jordan Grant and RJ Wims. 2 linebackers are seniors. Have done a really good job so far, Bryce Cooper and Lane Leger. And then we've got a young linebacker that's kind of coming on as a sophomore, Brandon Clayball, who we actually flipped from wide receiver. So, it's funny. We're sitting here thinking this guy's going to be an outside receiver for us. We see a need to bump him over to linebacker, and we do, because he's 6'1.5", 190 pounds, and he can run, which is why he played receiver.
Right.
And he's kind of taking on that mentality of like, hey, I just want to go throw my stuff around and go bust people up. It's been cool to watch.
A lot of these guys just want to contribute, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of them do like a challenge and want to get to do something new. And they're young, they're growing, they're getting stronger, faster, and better all the time. They're learning more, and when they realize, hey, I've got some new skills here, and I'd like to apply them, and and they accept that challenge, and they move over and they find something new. That just breeds a lot of teamwork, a lot of confidence, a lot of excitement with the team. So that's exciting to hear. This is exactly why we created this show, is just to hear these kind of stories and get some of this background. So because there's so much that happens before Friday night or Thursday night, before you suit up and hit the field. There's so much that happens before that, and you're putting a lot of the right players in a lot of the right places. And so far, it's working great, Coach. So you're great to talk to. We could do this all day long. I know we're both busy, so I want to wrap it up real quick with the sideline shuffle. This is something fun that we do. And like I said, this is about half a dozen questions just to get to know you a little bit in and out of football, just something fun. So this is kind of a no huddle offense.
Tempo.
Yep, very up tempo. We're in the red zone. No timeouts left. You ready? So here we go. What's your favorite flavor of ice cream, Coach?
Oh, mint chocolate chip.
Finally, somebody didn't say vanilla. Somebody with some flavor. I thought we were going to have to do an ice cream
My
party.
wife's a vanilla person. I make fun of her all the time.
Love it. A favorite style of music to get you pumped up, either pregame or in the workout? What's your style of music now?
Probably rap or hip hop.
There you go. If you could be in a band, what band would you want to be in, and what would you play? What would you do in the band?
Oof. I'm a defensive guy, so I'd probably say something like Slipknot, and I'd probably play drums. I don't know.
There you go.
Something thrash, something loud.
There you go. That's intense for sure. Favorite movie, and if you could be in a movie, what character would you play?
Oof. Favorite movie of all time is Jaws. Again, and maybe that's because I'm a defensive guy. I saw that when I was 5 and it still terrifies me, but I love watching it. And then character in a movie.
Well, now you got to be captain. So
Yeah, no doubt. Captain of something, I guess. I don't know. That's awful.
All right. Hey, when you do get away from football, which isn't very often, what do you like to do to unwind, relax a little bit?
Hang out with my wife and kids and then sit on the couch and nobody's allowed to talk to me for 10 minutes.
Hey, anything you want to say to the team or the audience real quick before we let you go?
Yeah, I appreciate all the support that we give. We have an awesome booster club here at College Park. We've got awesome fans. I think we almost had a record-setting student section the other day for our Klein Kane game. So Thursday night, we're back at Wood Forest Stadium playing against Conroe, first district game. Everybody's 0-0, so this one's for all the marbles. Let's go take it one at a time. Come out there, get the Cab crazies out there, and let's support these boys as we go try to go 1-0.
College Park head football coach Kyle Coach, thank you for joining us on the Moco Sideline Sports Show. Obviously, good luck this week and through the rest of the season. You're off to a great start. We'll catch up with you before the season's over and see how things are going.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Mike. Thank you for having me.
All right, y'all take care. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Moco Sideline Sports Show on Lone Star Community Radio. A big thank you to Coach Sheldon Benight at New Caney, Kayla Jenkins at the Willis Wildcats volleyball squad, and Kyle Coates with College Park. Thank you, guys. Please keep doing what you're doing. Thank you to all the coaches around Montgomery County, and most of all, thank you to all the athletes. Thank you for being a big part of what makes life interesting and fun for all of us, and we look forward to visiting with a lot of y'all down the road and hearing more about the great things that you're doing. Join us next time on the Moco Sideline Sports Show. You can hear us twice a month with new content and podcast information. But join us every Thursday at 1 o'clock right here on Lone Star Community Radio.